Hop day once again, everybody. Welcome to House to Home. I'm Jason Salas from the KUM studios where we are staying safe and staying inside. And I'm going to bring in my partners for the segment, the very lovely Liz and Gina, who are equally staying inside, staying home, staying lives, but they have not stopped working. And ladies, I know we've been talking about a variety so far in the last few weeks that we've been doing a segment of issues affecting the realty business, realtors themselves, property owners. I've got a question for the both of you now because it's kind of bubbled up. What would somebody do if prior to the pandemic they were in the process of securing a loan and the paperwork's in the flow, and you guys have talked to us for so many years about the pipeline. So what if someone's like stuck in the middle right now? Is has that even been resolved?
Well, we've had some that were able to close because the title companies decided that their title companies will insure it. So we've had a few cases that they were able to close escrow, sign all the pertinent documents, get them notarized. But the only step that was needed was to get it recorded because the government offices are closed. In some of those cases, the banks agreed to go ahead and close the transaction and even fund it. So a seller was able to get their monies. But that was only a few transactions because some of the banks didn't um, fund other transactions because they would prefer that the government record these documents. In order to do so. The other concern is if you, Jason, had a loan in process and let's say you still were waiting for appraisal, that's hampered because of the lockdown. Let's say your process of your purchase is subject to the preliminary title research, subject to a court lien. Even that has affected it, that they're checking to make sure there are no liens against the property and they have to get clearances. Because the government entities are closed, these steps, they are unable to get them done. I talked to a loan officer this morning and asked, she said that even the appraisers, when they go out, if they are unable to access the property, they have to do a drive-by. So for example, if a house maybe is worth 500,000, but the appraiser just does his drive-by, and he, let's say for example, he appraises it at 4 because he didn't see all the bells and whistles from the inside. So there's just so many factors that we're all affected through this lockdown process. It's domino
Mhm.
effect for all of us.
Gina, do we even have any idea of how many clients this may affect?
No, no, in terms of the brokerage companies, we're sweating bullets over the deals we have and the owners and buyers that we're working with, right? And we thought this was going to conclude soon, and then it's been extended. So we have not spoken to each other in terms of brokerage companies to see how many people are sitting in limbo. We're just trying to keep the people that are in limbo within our office. We're trying to keep them abreast of what we can do next, what we're going to do to help them. Um, you know, and there are you asked about the pipeline. So there's some individuals who began the pipeline, they're just at the starting point and they're sitting in limbo. They can't complete the loan application, they can't move any further. And what about the individuals that are in the pipeline that perhaps maybe are losing their job? So, this is going to affect a lot of people, and we're hearing rumors that this might be extended even further. So we're going to have to see how many of these people can ride this wave out. I'm imagining some of them may not be able to. This
Mhm.
is going to cause a hardship for both buyers and for sellers. And there are situations where the buyers were in the military. They got here and decided that they were going to buy instead of renting. And I don't know how much longer they can stay in their hotel accommodations because that doesn't last forever. Yeah, so we're just going to have to figure out what we could do to help our customers, both sellers and buyers.
And maybe now, how about, because and I like how you put that. I mean, not like, that's probably like the wrong word, but I can appreciate, let me say, that you said, there are obviously a lot of realty transactions that have gone on prior to the pandemic taking over as it has. But what if people have made, offers and then they have undue hardships imposed upon them now? Um, Are they able
Yeah,
to rescind their offers, or if you are someone who's receiving offers, can you give them like a little bit of leeway, or how do we handle that?
if you've submitted an offer and it has been accepted, then that is a valid contract. Now, if you want to rescind your offer, just bear in mind it has to be both parties in agreement. I mean, the lockdown was extenuating circumstances. So, for example, if you're applying for a loan and you've been furloughed, you've been no longer employed, then that may affect the loan process.
I think our
So,
lawyer friends would call this force majeure.
well, when I talked to a loan officer about this, she was saying that if you've been furloughed, so if you're going through the process, they still need documentation to show. Your employer would have to show something to say that you're still employed, you're a permanent employee, your salary hasn't been affected. They need to show that your salary has not been reduced in monetary value, that whatever they've approved you for is still in place.
Mhm.
So it's going to affect a lot of people who wanted to buy, yet there was interrupted service. So they're going to have to go back to their employees to get, additional documentation to support. I'm gainfully employed. There's no change, and then they're going to have to figure out that how has their salary been affected.
Right. Well, we are running out of time right now, but I wanted to maybe hopefully end on a positive note because one thing that I am appreciating, again, appreciate the work that you and your colleagues have done, is the realty community itself has always been one that has always given back to the community, and the Guam Association of Realtors has actually done some really good work to support our frontline heroes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And the thing we're concerned about is operating safely. If hopefully they lift that ban, so we're no longer construed as non-essential, because there are people who need our help. There have been people calling and saying, "Hey, please help." So
Okay.
Yeah,
hopefully,
Well,
housing is essential, Jason. We hope the government realizes that soon. Thank you
okay.
so much.
Well, that is. Let's end on that. The very strongest word we have, probably in the English language, is hope. So, ladies, thank you much. Let's get a wave goodbye to everybody.
thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody. We'll see you next time right here on House to Home.